Hello, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. This is the great and powerful Zilla, and today I'm going to talk to you about this ship. This bad girl is His Majesty's ship Audacious. Now, in the history of the British Navy, there were many ships called the Audacious. Most famously, there was a World War I battleship that was called the Audacious that was sunk in World War I. However, in this game, they have come up with the Tier 10 British carrier, the Audacious. So let's talk about this ship in real life. Technically, her name was Audacious. The name of the class was Audacious, but she was never actually named the Audacious. Her name was changed in 1946 to the Eagle. This ship was laid down in 1942, and in 1946, in honor of the Eagle, who had sank, I believe, on a Malta convoy, it was renamed the Eagle. And it was launched in 1946, and it was commissioned in 1954, and it served all the way up until 1971. I stand corrected. It was commissioned in 1951. So, for 20 years, it served the British Navy very well. It never saw combat, but nonetheless, as it was a projection of British power. This was also the first British carrier that was designed specifically to handle jet aircraft. As you can see in some of the pictures on the deck, you will see Hawker Siddeley, Buccaneers, and whatnot on its deck. In this game, however, it does not run those. So let's take a look at the planes. First of all, the Audacious, according to Ken Cole, is rather audacious. Good Lord, if that girl is 20-something, she won't have a good back. She'll have back problems before she's 30. Anyway, that's besides the point. Let's take a look at the planes. The British, unlike the Americans, really did try to homogenize the planes on her ships. Okay, and for whatever reason, this interface is messing up, so stop that. Anyway, it has all. Get down there. Good grief. It has all Westland Wyverns. Okay, and the Americans tried this with the Douglas Skyraider. You try to get a ubiquitous plane that can do everything. It can attack, it can bomb, it can torpedo bomb, and whatnot. However, so one thing you might be interested in this game is that these planes are not piston engine aircraft. These are jets. That's right. The Westland Wyvern was a turboprop. Okay. So these were actually jets. They're the only jets in the game that you get to play with. For right now, anyway. Okay, even though they're turboprops. Okay? And it was an odd looking plane, but it served the British Navy very well. It also served Commonwealth Navies well. And it served as a fighter and a bomber and a torpedo bomber, and it does the same thing in this game. It's ubiquitous. It does everything. Okay, so one plane for everything. Unlike the Japanese and American carriers that have a differentiation, the British use the same plane for everything. And you can well imagine in real life that would simplify supply. Of course, that didn't last very long in real life as other jets came online in the 1950s. But for our purposes, that was rather interesting, I think. What do we got? We got a 6-point captain. Yeah, not very high. But again, I'm going to go straight down the attack line, pick up survivability expert, improved engines, engine boost, and then probably go with fire starter. You know, that's me. Your mileage may vary. You may like something different, but that's the way I do things on my captains. All right, and now we can look at the modules. Watch it do right this time. Nope, it's still hiding all the airplanes, and I don't know why. But anyway, we are going to go with upgrades. Oh, now it shows the airplanes. Yeah, they're all Wyverns. All right. I'm going to go with Air Goose Mod 1, Damage Control Mod 1, Torpedo Bombers Mod 1 that extends the attack time, gives you more time to get that reticle down. Health on the dive bombers, health on all the planes. Okay, well, this increases the servicing time, so it helps me get planes back faster. And then health on all the planes. So health, service time, attack time, damage control, and of course, when they're coming back to the aircraft, the faster they get back to the carrier, the better off you are. Now I'm going to show you a game on this ship. You're going to be pretty amazed. Not so much at what I do, but in the results. This is a co-op battle. Ta-da! The reason it's a co-op battle is nobody's playing a tier 10. And I waited in queue for 5 minutes and I said, screw it. I'll just go to co-op and film it there. And the economy of this is going to shock you. It really is. It's going to be rather surprising. So, what to expect out of this aircraft carrier? Well, you're pretty damn near invincible as far as anti-aircraft goes. You've got an armored flight deck. You're a very tough ship. You've got a lot of health. Da-da-da. You get 63,000 health. Tier 10, that doesn't seem like much, but for an aircraft carrier, that's a lot. You get fire to defense, so you can automatically add 50 points to your anti-aircraft defense. And your damage control is pretty much instantaneous. You're not slow, you're not fast, and you're not half-fast. You're 32 knots, so you're not vulnerable that much. You're not going to hide from anybody. I mean, this thing is the length of the Empire State Building, right? Okay? You're not hiding from anybody. Trust me. I know they look small in the game, but if you were a sailor and you jumped off the front of this ship, you would die. That's how tall it is from the top of the flight deck to the sea. At the very least, you would break every bone in your body. That is one heck of a fall, okay? So, anyway, we'll take it into the co-op game and show you what we got. And when we're done, we'll take a look at it. That is the Audacious, all right? All right, let's have a look here and see what we got. Couple things about co-op. The bots are smarter. And they don't do what players do. They tend to stay grouped together. So it makes a bit of a challenge for an aircraft carrier. However, in this game, I'm looking at the anti-aircraft, and the only real danger I see is the Missouri. Everybody else is in the 50s, 40s, and 50s and 60s. The Missouri, not so much. So I'm not that concerned about the anti-aircraft. What I am concerned about is that in co-op battles, bots stick together. They stay together. So I've got my spiffy Union Jack camouflage on, and I'm just going to start heading off toward the east. And I take off in the Wyvern attack rocket planes, and if you look slightly under the wing, you see I got a butt ton of rockets. These planes carry a ton of ordnance. So the British thing is, if you throw enough at it, some of it's going to stick, right? So I head out, as I typically do, and you should do, in the rocket planes, which I consider to be somewhat expendable, since you can't snapshot a destroyer anymore. And, they do their share of damage. But mostly with British ships, especially with British ships, you're counting on fires. Starting fires. So I see there's a bunch of observation planes and ship-mounted fighters up in the air. I'm going to turn this corner. I'm going to see a Charles Martel. I'm going to kind of shy away a little bit. Then I notice his flak ain't doing jack. Flak ain't doing jack. How about that? As the British called flak, Archie. Says Archie ain't all that. So I'm coming back and I'm going to drop down and we're going to launch rockets against this guy. I'm going to account for my lag a little bit. I'm going to launch and there they go. Boom. Hit a bunch of rockets, start a fire. That's the thing, guys. Start the fires on the British carriers. You want to get fires started. Okay? So I'm going to swing back around. These things don't exactly turn on a dime, but they're not exactly slow either. Okay? And we're going to turn it back around, and we got some puff coming up. And we're going to try again. We're going to come up on his rear, and when you come up on the rear of a ship, you want to have the reticle in front of it. Okay? So I'm going to wait until I'm almost right on top of them, and then I'm going to launch the rockets, and I know with my lag they're going to go off a little bit, and they do, and they hit and start another fire. And again, British carriers, you're counting on those fires, guys. You have to have them. So what I do here is I see they're beat up. I'm going to just bring them back to the ship. No sense in just throwing them away. And I'm going to launch the second set, and these guys are carrying a torpedo. Now, the neat thing about the British torpedoes, and it's just cosmetic, if you look at the back of them, they got these little wings on them. Yeah. I mean, if you look carefully at the torpedo, you'll see the back of the torpedo has little wings, like it's a guided missile or something. Okay? So I'm taking my winged torpedoes out here, and I'm looking at the Charles Martel, and I'm like, do I really want to spend torpedoes on this guy? And I don't see anything else really compelling around him, and he is quite a threat. So I'm going to drop down, and I'm going to chase him into those islands. Now, the bots aren't stupid. They think. They do pre-program things, but they do, they do what bots are supposed to do. And there, I drop around the corner of the island. I try to catty corner those torps in. They just come in behind him. That's how you drop over an island, guys. You come down over the island. You drop before you're over the island. Here I'm coming down again over the island. I'm going to drop down, drop those torps on that Yamato, and my planes are going to return to my ship. Yeah, my ships are going to return to my planes. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm going to bring it back home. Torpedoes off. Does it hit? Yes, it does. And it incapacitates something, probably caused, engine failure or something like that. So I'm going to take off into bombers. And just a little spoiler alert. My bombers, the lag just makes them way off, and you're going to see that. So I'm going to adjust the course of my aircraft carrier since it's sailing backwards again. They still have not fixed that glitch. And make it sail forward. I'm going to take these bombers out. I'm going to try and nail the Yamato out here. Yamato has an anti-aircraft rating of 55. Don't let that fool you. The Yamato's anti-aircraft can hurt. And especially if he's grouped up or nearby other ships that can provide anti-aircraft support. So you look at the puff clouds, they're coming in pretty ferocious. I'm going to drop these bombs, but they're going to land way off. I mean, look, they float, boom, 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 all the way back behind it. And that's not my fault. I dropped on his nose, and the lag took them the rest of the way. So I'm going to come up again. This is a good angle. If you have to come at an angle at the ship, you want to drop across his bow. But again, with my lag, they're going to drop way off. Look at him. All the way out there. So I said, okay, that's it. Screw it. I'm not doing the dive bombers anymore. My lag is just way too far off, and I can't adjust for it. So I take off in torpedo bombers again. There's those little wings. Take a look at them. And go drop down on this Yamato again. Why not? But then I see another Yamato that's a closer threat to our remaining ships. So I'm going to drop down on him. And we'll see what we can do. Now this is how you drop over an island. You start your approach before you come on the island. Come over the top and drop it where the green line is. Alright? And ba-boom. I'm going to get hits. Yep. And a flooding. Which is all good stuff. And I'm going to come up on his rear. And I'm going to do it again. This is how you do it. You start off the island. Swing it back around. This is where that module that extends your attack time comes in handy. Wait until the yellow's up on his stern and then drop. Will they hit? Maybe. Maybe not. But in any case, he can't turn. If he turns, he's going to turn into a torpedo now. Okay? And you want to make sure that yellow line is right on his stern because he's moving forward. Okay? So there they go. And they don't hit him. Or do they hit him? No, I don't think they did. Now, I wanted to drop on this guy, but look at what's next to him. Our ship. I'm not going to do that. I've seen some guys do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to turn pink, and I don't want to hurt our team. So I'd much prefer to just ditch the run and start over somewhere else than to accidentally hit one of our own ships. And by the time I get there, he's going to take that Yamato out anyway. Yamato's too beat up. So I bring up these fighters, and I'm going to spin around. And one of the neat things on a carrier, if you haven't noticed, when you fly over your own ship and take a look at it in its full majesty on the ocean, it's pretty neat. You know, it's just a neat little effect. I like it. Little things mean a lot sometimes, you know. So I'm flying along, and there's only one ship left. It's Yamato. It's kind of hard to miss, and there he is in sea where I left him. He hasn't moved very far. Sometimes these bots, they'll get into a cap zone, and once they're in there, they just stop until they're attacked, and then they start moving again. Well, this guy's moving. He has been attacked by one of our ships, and he's turned away from the ship. 2 points away. Okay, and I'm going to drop down, drop rockets on him, and they hit. But if you look, most of them are shatters. This is why I say you're not looking to produce a tremendous amount of damage with your rockets. What you're looking for are fighters. You want to start fires, okay? Because fire is where your damage is going to come from on the British ships. Really, that's where your bread and butter is. Fire and flooding. Okay, I'm going to drop down again. Wait till it's on his stern. I'm going to launch. I'll hit one out of that whole group. And you can see the British Wyverns, they drop a whole lot of bunch of rockets. Okay? They come at you with the whole inventory. Okay? So I'm going to swing it back around. I'm going to come back at him again. Not too much flak. 55 is doable. You're still doing damage. He's still hurting me. And a bunch of shatters. And that's about it. And no fires. And again, you're counting on fires. You're hoping to get them. So I'm going to bring up my cruise torpedoes and go after the Yamato again. Why? Because he's the only one left. Okay, rinse and repeat, right? Okay, and you can notice that my planes recover rather quickly. I'm not running out of planes like I did. If you watched my Implacable video, that was just horrendous slaughter. Tier 10, you're not going to get up tiered. You are tier 10. This is where you're at. And sometimes the composition of the enemy team is going to be complementary to you, and sometimes it's going to suck. Just depends. You know, one booster would have made a big difference in this game. So I'm going to drop down. I'm going to launch these torpedoes. But I know myself that they're not going to get there by the time that ship is dead. I was hoping to get the kill steal, but nope, he's dead before the end. Now, this is the part I want you to check out. This is a co-op battle. You'll notice my ship didn't take any damage. I didn't get sunk. I did 41,000 damage. Hit some torpedoes, hit some rockets. And I lost 141,000 credits. Your eyes did not deceive you. I lost only 28 planes. 28 planes. And I lost, okay, 141,500 credits in a co-op game. And I'm looking to see where the hell did I lose all this thing. I lost 44,000 credits in planes. Where the hell's the cost? And it's in the service, and I'm like, what? So you explain that to me, because that's not a bad game. That's not a great game. It's not a bad game. It didn't sink any ships. 141,000 credits lost. Well, be that as it may, you guys be good to each other and have a great, great day.